with Mr. Adedeji, and we're looking at the Rivers rerun election, the outcome, and we were trying to look at the security agencies and how much of interference or otherwise they have in elections in the country. Let's talk about that of Rivers State.
Well, to the extent that security agencies have their work cut out for them, usually during the elections, they're expected to have a map out work where they understand that in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, these are the sequences of events that will happen. And they're supposed to have programmed their network, intelligence gathering, information seeking. So at least they have an idea of what is in the mindset of the people who are going through this election. If they fail to do that, they will always be caught unawares. What has happened in Rivers is an indication that there was a lax in the security network. And the effort to be able to beef up failed to the extent that some of the officers lost their lives. It's unfortunate. But I believe there is a lesson to learn in this whole exercise. And much more has to be done in terms of intelligence gathering to be able to identify those areas that are prone to erupt during elections and those who are likely to be sponsoring such violence need to be identified. In political situations that may be as explosive as that in Rivers, you would expect that the security agencies should have held meetings with the heads of the political parties in that area to pre-warn them that they would not tolerate any eruption of violence, or if anyone comes, they will meet force for force. I don't believe they did enough to be able to forestall what happened in Rivers.
Could it be that it's a case of looking to protecting others and well, dropping the ball on their own side? Because if you look at the headlines, a lot of accolades for the police, the security agencies who were able to rescue the core members, because that's a huge number.
If you
16 core members.
If you read the report, it was a backup. The thing had happened. Another unit had to be called to backup. The issue is, were they prepared to prevent such a thing from happening? I think it's the prevention that was lacking. You should anticipate that some violence is going to happen during an election anyway.
It would seem that there's a thin line because, first of all, you know, we've raised the issue of trust. Whether or not even the party on the ground felt that, you know, the security agencies were going to be fair to all concerned. Right. I do know that the governor had raised that extensively, but also the APC also said that the security agencies have never been on their side. In fact, they say that they have been on the receiving end because people say that they ought to be benefiting, but they say they're not seeing anything. But that's on the other hand. So when you talk about, and then when we look at the number of officers deployed, from the police alone, we heard there were close to 28,000 people, officers deployed for that election alone. So it would seem that there is a balance between deploying security agencies and ensuring that the elections are not about the security agencies. How do you even begin to strike that sort of balance?
You see, the balance is not there. That's why this happened. Because there wasn't a balance. The balance should have been between the police and the intelligence information that they have and the general community. That's where the balance should have been struck. The police should have done enough work to say, look, we're out there to protect you, but we have identified a number of these people who are likely to bring about violence. And we're on top of it, we're monitoring them, and we will meet force for force if we see anything come up in these areas. If only they had done that, then that would have justified the number of police officers that were deployed there. they deploy officers in situations where you anticipate that you want to keep peace in a particular area. But when you do not give sufficient intelligence information to such police officers, they definitely will be caught unawares.
I continue to ask, what precisely informs the desperateness we've seen on both sides of the of the political divide? That is, when you look at the rhetoric coming out from the mouth of politicians, I think we heard Minister of Transport talking about this is the election of our lives, and when you hear also the governor, speaking as well, you know that these elections mean a lot to them, or mean the world.
That's right.
To them. You have to ask, what precisely is at the heart of this fierce competition? Is it really about service to the people?
No, it's about political power. It's about someone saying, I'm in charge here. And someone saying to that person, I challenge the powers that you have. This is not the first time. That is what happened when Amechi changed from being PDP to another political party while he was governor there. And to the extent that at that time, the federal might